If you violate the law, you have to be held accountable.
Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day. This case is brought consistent with that commitment.
Accountability. Accountability. That is what every prosecutor who has charged Donald Trump for his attempts to overturn the 2020 election says they are seeking. Accountability. And right now, their pursuit of accountability increasingly depends on the 9 justices of the Supreme Court. Just yesterday, the court agreed to hear an appeal brought by a man charged with obstructing an official proceeding on January 6th. That is the very same proceeding Jack Smith charged Donald Trump with obstructing, the certification of President Biden's win. And the Supreme Court's decision to weigh in here could impact Trump's own D.C. trial on whether it happens on schedule. Also before the Supreme Court right now is Trump's argument that presidential immunity shields him from prosecution in the special counsel's case. In taking up that case, the Supreme Court will also consider Trump's argument that the Constitution's double jeopardy clause shields him from prosecution as well, since Congress already impeached Trump for trying to overthrow the 2020 election. Mr. Trump has thrown a lot of spaghetti at the wall here in pursuit of a stay-out-of-jail-free card, and now the 9 justices of the Supreme Court will be the arbiters of which arguments actually stick. So their opinions matter, as always, but especially their opinions as it pertains to what happened on January 6th. And one of those justices has a wife who pressed lawmakers in swing states to overturn the 2020 election results, who cheered on Trump supporters the morning of January 6th before things turned into a full-scale assault, writing on Facebook, "Love MAGA people," and a wife who exchanged at least 29 text messages with former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows urging him to help overturn the 2020 election. The author of those texts was Ginny Thomas, wife of Justice Clarence Thomas. Now, Ginny Thomas has sworn that her right-wing activism does not influence her husband's work. When she was called before the January 6th committee last year, she told them, "It's laughable for anyone who knows my husband to think I could influence his jurisprudence. The man is independent and stubborn with strong character traits of independence and integrity." And yet, this is a couple that reportedly shares a brain. In a 2011 speech, Justice Thomas himself said of his wife, "We are equally yoked, and we love being with each other because we love the same things. We believe in the same things." And so this week, Senate Judiciary Chair Dick Durbin and other Democrats have begun calling for Justice Clarence Thomas to recuse himself from Trump's January 6th case. Senator Durbin told The Hill this week there are so many unanswered questions about the relationship of the justice and his family with the Trump administration that I think in the interests of justice, Thomas should recuse himself. Now, whether Justice Thomas heeds these calls is very much an open question. Justice Thomas has only recused himself from one January 6th case. That's when the Supreme Court rejected a petition from John Eastman, who happens to be both Thomas's former law clerk and one of Trump's co-defendants in Georgia. Other than that, Thomas hasn't felt the need to step away from anything related to January 6th. And whether he decides that having a wife who is not simply a believer but a proponent of the big lie is sufficient enough conflict to step aside here, that will have meaningful impact on whether there is accountability or not.